So if you guys missed what happened, basically, if you guys missed the news, Ninja left Twitch August 1st, so it's been less than 2 weeks since he's moved to Mixer, another streaming platform, and it was seemingly done in a very graceful manner. Twitch made a tweet saying, we wish you well, or something. Like, they said something that was like decently appropriate and respectful. And pretty soon after, we saw some not so cool things done by Twitch. So the first thing is that they completely took down Ninja's channel and replaced it with a portal to other streamers, basically saying that this page no longer exists, but here's other Fortnite streamers related to the exact person that you were trying to find. So here's some other Fortnite streamers. So from Twitch's standpoint, they were trying to retain those viewers that come to Ninja's channel, not really, maybe not knowing that he moved or anything, and trying to retain as many of those viewers as possible, which makes a lot of sense from a company standpoint, right? Like, you don't want to just like, oh, just put your hands up and let all these people just, you know, flow out to a competing platform with, you know, their biggest streamer by far. And, you know, this was met with some criticism. Ninja didn't say anything. Ninja literally didn't say anything about what was happening. There was, you know, some people that were just like, okay, that's kind of low. It's kind of messed up, right? Like, from like, you know, a perspective of like Twitch looking a little petty, to completely like take down his channel. And this went on, and the issue, the main reason that this blew up was because on the Fortnite directory a couple days ago, for about 2 hours, the top channel in the Fortnite directory with over 10,000 viewers was pornographic material on the stream. For 2 hours, there was pornography playing in the Fortnite directory, the top, one of the most popular categories on Twitch, in a directory that is arguably mostly underage kids. So this is obviously a really big issue for a lot of reasons. And this is when Ninja decided to say something, because his channel, people could go to his channel and it would show the recommended, the top recommended Fortnite streamers, and one of those channels was porn being shown. So Ninja put out a video that I will show you guys. I'm gonna itch my nose really quick. Ninja put out a video, like, finally, like, speaking out about like what was going on. So we will watch it here. Let me just flip this.
As you guys know, I'm streaming on Mixer now. My team and I have made sure that the transition went incredibly smooth, super professional. We haven't said anything bad or negative about Twitch, obviously, because there really hadn't been any reason to. Over the last couple of days, there have been some things that have been going on that, you know, we let slide. They were kind of annoying, little jabs we felt like, but it didn't matter. We wanted to stay professional. But now, for those of you who don't know, if you go to twitch.tv/ninja, they advertise other channels. They don't do this for anyone else that's offline, by the way, just me. And there are also other streamers who have signed with other platforms whose stream and channel still remains the same. You can see their VODs. They don't promote other streams. They don't promote other popular channels, but they do on mine. I've been streaming for 8 years to build my brand, to build that channel, 14.5 million followers, and they were still using my channel to promote other streamers. Well, now there was a porn account that was #1 being recommended on my channel, and I have no say in any of this stuff. So this is like this is the line, this is the straw. We're trying to get the whole channel taken down to begin with, or at least not promote other streamers and other channels on my brand, on my freaking profile. So for anyone who saw that, for anyone whose kids or who just didn't obviously want to see that, I apologize, and I'm sorry.
So within an hour of this video that was tweeted out by Ninja, that has since gotten 29,000 retweets, 233,000 likes. Within an hour of him tweeting this, Twitch reverted his channel back to his old page. where it's just twitch.tv/ninja. It's his normal page with all his stuff at the bottom. Like his page didn't even like say anything about Mixer. Like it was just exactly how it was when he was streaming on Twitch. Oh, you know what? There's something else that I need too. There is something else that I need. So then we had the CEO of Twitch, Emmett Shear, comment about the situation, because obviously this is a massive PR issue on Twitch's end. I cannot spell his name for some reason. Okay, I found it. So he says, our community comes to Twitch looking for live content to ensure they find great live channels. We've been experimenting with showing and recommending content across Twitch, including on streamers' pages that are offline. This helps all streamers as it creates new community connections. However, the lewd content that appeared on the Ninja offline channel page grossly violates our terms of service, and we permanently suspended the account in question. I mean, it's like a throwaway account anyways. We've also suspended these recommendations while we investigate how this content can be promoted. On a more personal note, I apologize and want to apologize directly to Ninja that this happened. It wasn't our intent, but it should not have happened. No excuses. He is getting ratioed on his tweet because people are very obviously outraged. You know, most of it's, I feel like in this situation is justified, but you know, like with every situation, with every hot topic, you always just have like everyone wants to jump in. So it does get kind of annoying in that regard. So the whole situation, like there's a lot of pieces that's happening with this situation, right? So on one hand, you have the concepts of Twitch recommending other channels on your channel without your consent or without your control. You know, you do see this kind of recommendation thing. Thank you so much, Poke. Thank you so much for the $3. I appreciate that. So you see this kind of thing happen on other platforms like YouTube and stuff, and you know, no one really says anything. So that's kind of a very interesting point that's been made. It's like this is seen on other platforms. Why is it such an issue with Twitch? I see it as an issue, especially because you have for me, for example, I do mostly like family friendly content. So for me, like I don't want to promote or have promoted without my consent channels that are mature in nature, because if you go to someone's page, I feel like the way it's designed kind of it's completely personalized by the streamer, but then you have recommendations that aren't, and to me that comes across, it looks like an endorsement in my opinion, where you have recommended channels like, oh, the streamer, because you have hosting, you have rating, right? Like you have like shoutouts and stuff that the streamer does. So the nature of Twitch and how it works right now is that everything is based off a streamer's recommendation on how people find new content through other people's channels. It's entirely based off the streamer that's running that channel. So do I think it's a completely like this is going to happen? This is definitely a feature that they're working on that is going to happen in the future. I personally think it would be cool if the streamer could form those recommendations, but I think far before they add any of that, they really need to get in control of the algorithm, how they choose channels, how they can better ensure that those channels are very similar and appropriate to what the current channel shows. Ideally, like obviously if the streamer could choose, that'd be fantastic. But going back to the Ninja situation, I think the problem is they completely took down his channel, right? They're saying that they're testing something new, but like you don't completely take down someone's channel, like literally change the entire page to recommend other streamers. Like if they did that to any other streamer, like that would, like especially a streamer that actually streamed on the platform, like that would be terrible. No one would ever want a feature like that where you can't even act like that channel exists. So like maybe they could have gotten away with it if they maybe did a bar across the top and Ninja's entire page was still intact. Like, okay, fine, I do get that. Like, Twitch is a business and Twitch is trying to retain as many viewers as possible from this Ninja Mixer move. So that's okay. But like the fact that I think they completely took down the page was this like, it was kind of crappy in my opinion. On the other hand, you also have a separate issue of the fact that Twitch has a severe moderation problem right now. They've had a moderation problem for a while. It's been complained about many, many times. I mean, we just had the artifact controversy just a few months ago, where the artifact directory was completely bombed with highly inappropriate material, illegal content, and the slowness to react and to handle that situation. Twitch is not ready to just like randomly start recommending stuff. Like they're definitely not ready for that. They still don't have their moderation under control. 2 hours of porn with 10,000 people watching. That's a big problem for a platform that has millions and millions of people accessing their site. Like what? That's not okay. That is unacceptable. We had a great discussion about that a few months ago. Yeah, it was just a few months ago that we were talking about Twitch having moderation issues. The fact that something got through, and it wasn't just like a 10 viewer channel, 10,000 people in Fortnite. Like, I don't understand how that could not even open Twitch up to like legal issues. Of course, there are screenshots of what was happening with the directory and stuff like that. So there is proof of all this. I'm obviously not going to show it, but this is something that just happened a few days ago. No, Teppo, that's what I'm saying. We just a few months ago talked about the artifact situation. The fact that it wasn't handled well. You know what Twitch did about the artifact situation is they prohibited new accounts from being able to stream for a temporary amount of time. That is the way that they handled the situation. They literally could not keep up with the mass amount of channels that were streaming illicit content. That is crazy. That they're just like, okay, you know what? No new channels no new streams, no new accounts can stream right now. So, yeah, I feel like that Ninja speaking out at that moment, like Ninja handled, I think, this whole thing very well. Like he didn't say anything about like the fact that Twitch was kind of being like a little crappy about him leaving. But the fact that pornography was being recommended on his channel, like that is such a brand damaging situation for Ninja and for Twitch. Like that just boggles my mind. That would be devastating to have that happen. So that's why Ninja spoke up about it, and that's why I feel like he has every right to be upset about that. Like he has a family-friendly, kid-friendly channel with millions of kids that watch him. So we do have a couple of comments on the situation. So I'm going to show you guys the different threads of, you know, what people have been saying, how they've been breaking down the situation, so you can kind of get a look at other people's perspective. And I have a thread of my own that I'll show you as well. He's worked hard to build his brand that could be potentially extremely damaging. For sure, Fearless. Absolutely. It's like, that's really, really bad. So we have a thread by Justin Wong, who always provides really, really insightful information about like Twitch and about the industry. He used to work at Twitch. He used to be the ex-vice president of partnerships. So let's read his thread. Twitch's decision to unilaterally promote other channels on Ninja's channel represents a long-running internal conflict at Twitch. Who owns the viewers, the streamer, or the platform? Some background: when a viewer hits an offline channel page, they're far more likely to bounce from Twitch. It's a super leaky part of the acquisition funnel and something Twitch has been trying to solve, like with things like auto-host. They want to get you in front of content ASAP. Auto-host puts control into the streamer's hands. They can choose which channels they want to host, and they can even opt out of auto-hosting entirely. This is Twitch acknowledging that the streamer should have a say in who gets promoted to the following they've built, which is obviously something that I'm a fan of. Having recommendation features be opt-in. Again, going back to like the most obvious example, if you run a tight ship, if you have a family-friendly channel, you don't want to promote content that's far from that. And there's a big disparity in the types of content you see on Twitch. Here, Twitch put the Fortnite directory under his channel without asking, and they did this only his channel after he left for Mixer. Ninja had no say in the decision and no say in who appears in the directory. Twitch stole his ability to participate twice. Twitch says it's an experiment, so if we take them at their word, they want this on every offline channel. This would effectively remove participation from every streamer. You would have no say in who gets promoted on your channel when you're offline. They reverted it after the blowback, but the fact that this made it live at such a sensitive time is mind-boggling. They ran this experiment on their highest profile departure ever while their other partners are watching. It seems vindictive, but I think it's just out of touch. Ninja should still own his channel, and while he may no longer be a Twitch partner after 8 years of streaming, he's still a user, and that's a terrible way to treat your users. Which is a great point too. Like, he's not banned from Twitch. He's not like unable to interact with Twitch at all. So yeah. So that's Justin Wong's kind of insight right there. And it's a great conversation to have. Like, I mean, we kind of go back to, and I'll talk about it in my thread, but it's kind of like, you know, are we gonna see what happened like with YouTube? Like, are we getting to that point? Are we getting to the point where Twitch, where the Amazon overlords are just finally just like bearing down on Twitch, and the company is just so massive? There's so much disconnect and miscommunication between departments because it's hard to kind of keep everything in sync, right? Mistakes are going to happen. We have to be okay with that. Mistakes will happen, and Twitch will, you know, sometimes own up to their mistakes. But are we just gonna see a breaking point where Twitch is like, you know what, like, we can't just fold every time people get mad about things? You know, the viewers, the streamers, they want things the old way, but you know, we're too big. We're too big of a company now. Like, we have numbers that we gotta hit, and we gotta fix these issues like bounce rate and stuff. I have to sneeze. And where they just start kind of just not even bending to any type of outrage or anything. I don't know. Thank you guys. Are we living long enough to see ourselves become the villain? Correct. Most partner contracts have a non-compete or an exclusivity clause, which normally prevents you from, it depends on the contract, but basically, yeah, most partners cannot stream to multiple platforms. Not that it makes sense to a lot of the time, but it also, like, it's not even about being simultaneous, just like in general, not being able to stream to other platforms. General, I'm not speaking like purely off my own contract, but that's just pretty much the gist of it. It does depend contract to contract. I've seen a lot of people switch from Twitch to other platforms, and I've seen their badge and stuff get taken down like pretty quickly. I've also seen people that have tried other platforms, like, and they kept their partner status and then just like came back. So I don't really know what goes on internally to decide like who gets the salty like instant removal and then who like gets they just get to come back. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. Makes financial sense to lock streamers in. That way you get the whole pie rather than having to share. I mean, yes, on Twitch's side, it does make a lot of sense. It's harsh on streamers though, but if that's a TOS, then Ninja's done with Twitch and it's no longer his page. Legally, yes. But I mean, so the conversation that we're having is not just like, oh, does Twitch have the power to do this? Then they have the power to do that, and we should all accept that. It's kind of the precedent of having a feature like this on Twitch in general, right? Because they said, like, Emmett's like, this is a feature we're testing, we're trying to figure out. And they did that on, you know, the most prominent streamer leaving, and only that streamer, and they completely removed his page of existence. Like, you couldn't see anything about him. The page just did not exist. So that's kind of the back and forth that we're having. Like, is that okay? Is that, like, I don't think it's like a very cool thing to do, right? Like, I think most of us are like, that feels really bad. Whether they have the legal right to do that, they probably do, but legality is not equal morality. So yeah, that's kind of why we're having the discussion, right? It's not because like we just followed by legal guidelines, and fine, we just like accept it. But and then we circle back to the fact that there was porn showing, right? So now we go back into a circle where Twitch can't even control or handle moderation issues quickly enough to be able to have a feature like this. And they've just shown a huge example why this is problematic. So if they do something like this in the future and they figure it out, okay, we'll talk about it again then. But like, if Twitch can't get their moderation in order, then like, that's the first conversation we need to have. So we have a great thread by Omid here about the whole situation too. Omid, who owns, you know, OP Group, which I'm a part of, and he has been in this industry a long time. Again, another person that if you're interested in industry issues, another great person to follow. Twitch really effed up with the Ninja page in a lot of ways. I have some mixed thoughts about it. First, Ninja leaving is the biggest PR risk situation they've encountered. It calls into question the validity of their platform's dominance and their reaction to it. Would tell us a lot about the company. As a monolithic dominant platform, they had an easy high road, which they took to begin with. Twitch is bigger than any one streamer, even their biggest streamer. It was also so easy to write off Ninja as an opportunistic money chaser. Wishing Ninja well and treating him the same as any other streamer that left diminished his value. This was coupled with the fact that despite the loss of their biggest streamer, Twitch's global numbers didn't take a hit. Maybe Ninja wasn't as important as people thought. Saying best of luck while Ninja went to a platform less than 5% of Twitch's size was a perfect move. And watching Ninja's numbers inevitably slump from their highly newsworthy debut would only validate the premise. They couldn't leave it there. Someone saw an opportunity. Adding the referral page to Ninja's was as basic a tactic as any website might take. They saw a high traffic, functionally useless page. Do not let it go to waste. But that change came off as a petty shot against Ninja, framing a gigantic platform as a jealous ex-girlfriend. So this is kind of what we're talking about, where it's like, yeah, they could do it. But it does, you know, it does seem a little, like, again, I feel like if they left his page intact and then just put it across the top, like, it would not have even garnered nearly the amount of outrage that it had. Like, if they did that, like, it'd be like, oh, I feel like it would be fine, honestly. From my perspective, if they just did a recommendation page thing across the top and kept his channel, I'd be like, that makes a lot of sense. That seems perfectly fair. The moment they made the change, they lost the high road. And it was only a matter of time before an opportunity would present itself to Ninja to reclaim it. Was he chasing a payday to move to Mixer? Absolutely. I'm not sure what he was paid to switch, but it was likely good. Does that make him a bad person? No. While Twitch has been a fantastic place for so many people to build careers, it is a business relationship, not a family. Twitch has done a fantastic job of making it feel like a family, but their petty moves shone a cold light on the reality. And this right here is something that I go into in my thread, so we'll talk about this right here, because this is very, very important to talk about because of how Twitch used to operate and how it's changed today. So we'll go back to this exact thought. The fact that they deleted years of content from one of their popular creators in order to retain a few viewers on their site while leveraging his brand in the process is a hard pill to swallow for those who have truly bled purple for years. It should serve as a permanent reminder that Twitch is a business first and anything else it means to you second. No one should be surprised about this. It's always been true. Fearless. What's up, Dirty Polo? How you doing? That doesn't make Twitch bad or evil or any of the things people are saying. It's just reality. Of course, when the top link on the channel that used to be frequented by kids who play Fortnite is showing porn, that is a perfect storm. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see how easily Ninja could retake the high road, and he did. He did it by being professional the entire transition, by keeping his mouth shut about frustrations that any broadcaster of his size might have with a giant platform. Honestly, with what happened with his page when he left, a lot of people would have said something instantly. Like, just the fact that they changed his page, I feel like 9 out of 10 streamers would have said something, been like, damn, thanks Twitch, right? So much so that people are barely talking about the crass marketing stunt he launched in the media aftermath to collect his fans' phone numbers for marketing purpose, which is a completely different thing, but definitely a very interesting situation. That looked like an awesome transparent move in the wake of the Twitch debacle. Another strong play. While the internet rages about Twitch's tone deafness and laments that it's not what I remember, Ninja's marketing organization is collecting your data. Who knows? So yeah, this is like about the whole Ninja giving out his phone number thing. It was like a sponsored thing. A day like today, it's important to learn some lessons. Otherwise, none of us get better. If you work in the industry, you should pay attention. You don't owe Twitch anything. It's a business and should be seen and judged through that lens. Their apology will feel like damage control at the moment because it partially is, but I also thought it was sincere. This entire business is still new. We're all making things up as we go. Inevitably, mistakes will be made. Some of them will be really dumb. My company is much smaller than Twitch, but it's growing at a strong pace. As it does, we have faced challenges we haven't seen before. It's possible to get everything right, which is fair. Definitely fair. As big a company as Twitch is, it is huge on its own as well as part of Amazon. They're going to make mistakes every day. Twitch is a platform for streamers, not a company designed to benefit streamers at every turn. If you leave it, don't expect them to care about you very much. You're building a business on their platform. They always feel a sense of ownership or superiority over you. The same is true of other platforms. Again, this does not make them evil. This is business. Don't make the mistake of misinterpreting business as friendship. The easiest way to get manipulated. The story, I hope, is the one where that truly sinks in for streamers. Twitch is your partner, and while they are valuable, while are they a valuable partner to have, they've made it possible for thousands of people to have an entirely new form of career. But like any business partner, they must be watched, judged, and held accountable for bad decisions. Don't forget that. So this ending part is actually something that I talk about too in my thread too, pretty much. Like, so we'll jump into that. Give me one sec. So similarly to basically how this concludes, we can jump into my thread. Twitch is a business. Well, it used to have that close family vibe, and it really did for a while. There's just a thin layer left veiled over the mega corporation that's been operating under the guise for a long time now. Many are still trying to hang on to that familiar feeling. And we've seen instances in the past where it's kind of been, it's like, oh, it's kind of a wake-up call. But I feel like it's still, like, people still go back to being like, no, it can be a family. No, it can still be like that. So this is just like another one of those, like, guys, Twitch is a giant company owned by Amazon. Like, this is not the same Twitch that we saw 8 years ago. In some ways, that's beneficial. We sometimes get Twitch to fold under public pressure. Our vocal complaints keep Twitch in check, and we feel reassured that Twitch is listening. Maybe we are helping to steer Twitch from being largely despised like YouTube, where we get to the point where YouTube just makes decisions and is out of touch with the viewer base and the creators. Maybe the inevitable will happen anyways. Twitch will become too large to listen to the user base. We hope that doesn't happen. Either way, we have to realize Twitch is a business. There's some wonderful and passionate humans behind Twitch, but they can't control or speak for the entire company, so stop harassing them. You won't know every staff member, and they won't know you. It's time to change your way of thinking about Twitch. So, like, this is like, so this this is always a hard discussion for me because I know so many people that work at Twitch that I love and really care about Twitch. I've had plenty of feedback sessions with a lot of groups behind Twitch too, and you know, it's not fair to say like, oh, everyone at Twitch is horrible. The decision that they make can be out of touch, and there can be things that I don't agree with or that I criticize. That doesn't mean I hate Twitch or that I hate people that work at Twitch. So it's definitely hard to be like, oh, Twitch is not a family, but then there are people that work at Twitch that I'm friends with. But it's definitely an important distinction when it comes down to, you know, what is at the end of the day. Keep holding Twitch accountable, be critical, but be constructive. And streamers, look after your own business. At the end of the day, Twitch is not your sugar daddy and they don't owe you a thing. Hopefully your entire career is not reliant on the decision that Twitch makes. This is very important and very interesting because a lot of us, and I can't lie, like I do rely on Twitch being functional and making good decisions for me, for my job, for most of my income. And I'm trying to grow my brand outside of that, obviously, right? Like I'm trying to be like, guys, follow me on Twitter, here's my YouTube, like trying to expand so that like, if like, I always think about like, if Twitch magically like just, I don't know, disappeared tomorrow, how many streamers would be able to continue doing content creation as a full-time job? How many people would be able to bounce back off their feet? And it's not just a simple answer of just like switching to a new platform. Like it's really not that straightforward. So that all your eggs are not in one basket. Exactly. So there's a lot to break down here, basically. There's a lot of different things that are happening all at once. There's a lot of different things to talk about. And we just continue to watch and see what happens. I think it's definitely a good sign. We have to give Twitch credit where credit is due. The CEO of Twitch made a statement very shortly after that video was made. They fixed his channel very shortly after Ninja's tweet was made. Whether the tweet was entirely sincere or just a PR move, that's up to you guys to judge, right? We can't like pretend that or assume that Twitch is invulnerable to making mistakes. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a little bit more forgiving than some people. I think this was not a great move by Twitch. I definitely have a lot of criticisms about it. But I also feel like they're trying at least. Like they didn't just not say anything. Now you can say, oh, well, what about this issue? What about that issue? They didn't say anything about this. They didn't say anything about that. And that's true. And I've always been a fan of more communication. So I feel like, you know, Emmett Shear speaking out about this issue and issuing a formal apology to Ninja and to the public is a good thing. And so I used that opportunity to provide feedback to Emmett on the thread because one of the Twitch staff members retweeted and said like, oh, we're watching this thread, like give us feedback. And so I used that opportunity to explain what I didn't like about the whole situation, what I didn't like about that feature. Instead of being like, you know what, screw you, Twitch is canceled, blah, 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 like, yeah. Like, what is that going to do at the end of the day? It's kind of like, do we yell at Twitch when they don't say anything, and now we're gonna yell at Twitch because they do say something? Like how can Twitch win? Like, we're just gonna continue to encourage Twitch to just shut up because people are gonna get mad either way. So why should they even bother to say something? Cancel culture as a whole is toxic. It is. Like, there was like some hashtag trending like Twitch is over party. It's like, oh my god, if you tweet with that hashtag in a sincere way, like you're a problem. You're the problem. Like, oh, it's like so stupid. It's like Twitch is not over, okay? So no, give Twitch where credit is due. Give Twitch credit where credit is due. Call Twitch out when they make a mistake, but then if they open a line of communication, take advantage of it. Don't just yell like a raging baby. No, like actually take advantage to talk and actually express some freaking feedback that they can find useful. You know what I mean? Emmett Shear is literally opening a line of communication that every Twitch staff member is going to be watching, and you're gonna use that to be like, nah, Twitch is canceled. Nah. Okay, great. I'm glad that you're enacting positive and meaningful change into the platform that you care about. And I get that you're upset, and I get that you've been upset multiple times about things. And let me preface, or I guess it's too late to preface, but let me just iterate that I'm not calling anyone out particularly. I didn't read like any one specific comment and I'm like thinking of this person. But this is just a general trend that you see when, you know, people are mad about things. So I commend Twitch for actually making a comment, because there are a lot of things, a lot of big things, notably the Alinity situation that they didn't comment on. At least from my knowledge, there was no public comment by anyone at Twitch about the situation, which means it was handled or discussed entirely internally, which I am not a fan of. So in conclusion, TLDR, this was a whole messed up ball of mess of a situation, and kudos to Twitch for A, making a very swift change, and B, at least making some form of comment about it publicly. I love everything you said. Very articulate. Thank you, Fox. I do feel like there's still the issue of moderation that's not being talked about. That's kind of being, I think, missed by everyone's focus, or at least by what Emmett has talked about. Like, Emmett really only talked about the feature of recommending streamers and not about the fact that it took 2 hours to take down a pornography stream that had 10,000 plus people watching. I'd love to see some type of comment on how they're going to address this issue that they have with porn and other types of content that breaches TOS, just being very slow to be addressed. So I wish that was kind of a focus of the apology. But yeah, that's the situation in a nutshell, which is a very large nutshell. We'll see what happens. The page is restored. Ninja's still doing his thing on Mixer. And that's it. That's pretty much it right now.